the final speaker, Mr. Tryfon, the president of the Panhellenic Union of Pharmaceutical Industry. Are you using a PowerPoint or?
No, I will not use the PowerPoint, okay. And it's in Greek, and I'll switch my presentation to English in courtesy mainly of the foreign guests here. So I will start first from the growth prospects. Thank you for inviting me here, because I think it is important to, when we go after 8 years of deindustrialization, deinvestment, high unemployment, and many other negative elements in the Greek economy, it is very, very important for the Greek country and its citizens to clearly define a fast-track growth strategy. But not only define it, but implement it as well. And we all know that implementation has never been a very strong point of us Greeks, unfortunately. So we need a specific action plan for each priority sector. And by all independent studies and bodies, the pharmaceutical industry has been identified as one of the leading sectors in this growth prospect. And of course, it's not only in Greece. I have to remind here that the pharma sales pharmaceutical companies is $1.3 billion worldwide. Imagine this number. It is also the second area in terms of investment in R&D and the second employment sector in the chemical industry. Of course, all this signify the importance, and each government is trying to, on the one hand, have a specific budget, and give access to the patients for all necessary medicines, but also try and take advantage of this sector as a growth sector. So, there are specific, the footprint of the Greek pharma industry, I think, is important, because even though there has been a significant crisis, we have in Greece 26 Greek-owned pharma industries and 2 foreign-owned Greek industries. So 28 companies with an industrial base is very significant for a country like Greece, especially as it is high technology products. 53,000 directly and indirectly employed by the Greek and foreign multinational companies. And of course, exports to 85 countries, significant investments according to our budget, of course, and our revenues in R&D, very close association. This has improved in the last years with universities. All these create, I think, a very significant, let's say, climate and framework for the next steps. And it is, in this very difficult period, I think it is good news that the pharma production has increased, mainly the last 2 years, by 12%, mainly because of exports. Exports have increased by 22%, and also there has been a slight increase in the Greek market, mainly because to a small generic uptake. This is the good news. Now, opportunities in front of us, the uptake of generics in the Greek market. Second, we are around 25-26% in volume. We can go to double this. It is also part of the memorandum. And I think that we need to actually implement measures that will lead us there quickly. The measures that we have implemented up to now are measures that will not lead us there quickly. We need a very big, another session to discuss it. But this is the first opportunity. The second opportunity is that being in EU, the Greek pharma product is a brand. It's a European Greek pharmaceutical product. It's a brand that has been exported and recognized in many countries. So it is important for countries and regions like the Middle East, the Far East, Africa, to have a European pharmaceutical product that is considered as let's say, better in quality than, for example, products from third world countries. So there is opportunity for us to expand our industrial base abroad through this. The second are 2 things that are happening now in Brussels, and according to the European policy for pharmaceuticals. The first is the, let's say, the mutual recognition between the American FDA and the European drug organizations. These give opportunity for Greek companies to be able more easily to launch their products in the US with certain prerequisites. And the other is the SPC waiver exemptions, whereby we can increase our production base here for products that have a patent but can be sold to countries that the patent is not existing, just be produced here. Now, this presents, and of course there are opportunities for R&D Greek, let's say, projects in terms of hybrid devices, etc. This presents the opportunities. However, we need to have a very specific framework and prerequisites in order to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. The first thing that I would like to put here is, and again, we need a whole session because many things are technical. Professor Carona knows most of them. Is we need a totally new policy mix. I heard very carefully what Professor Carone has said. He described the challenges. He described many problematic areas that we had in the past, and we cannot go back there. We definitely have budgetary constraints of the Greek economic system, of the social security, and we definitely need to have as a priority to cover patients with affordable medicines. And definitely the patient of Professor Carone, I think, has been very big all these years with so many different governments and institutions. However, we're now at a stage whereby we must see the results of these 7 years. And the results, unfortunately, say that the reforms, on the one hand, have not been implemented to a very successful extent. It is noticeable that in the system we still have 70 million prescriptions. And we also have a lot of prescription in high-price products that are not innovative. So it means that even though we are in a crisis, prescriptions have increased in the system, and the only measure that has been implemented at the moment has been price decreases. So we need a lot of work to do there for prescription monitoring, controlling, therapeutic guidelines, registries, etc. The second very big problem of the system for the pharmaceutical industry, and it needs to be definitely addressed immediately, is twofold. There's the legislation for the clawback, which unfortunately has been extended up to 2022. The clawback is unsustainable by any means, and if you compare this to any other measures in Europe, it is 3 times or 4 times more than the discount and clawbacks that other European companies give. And this is something that has to be addressed. And the clawback has 2 characteristics, and I'm very surprised that nobody mentions them. The first is that the clawback is being paid in retail, is being paid by the pharma industry in retail price, not ex-factory price. And the second, which we're proud of, but of course we cannot continue taking the full burden, is that all the uninsured and unemployed are being paid. The unemployed which is about 200 million, is being paid by the industry. In other countries, this should be taken in terms of social security or pension, or let's say some measures that have to do with the less wealthy of our citizens. The other very big distortion, and this is a very big discussion again, and we have done this, and we can do it, but at another level, is the fact that the pricing law, the pricing policy mechanism has again failed. Because we're at a stage now that where every 6 months only the low-price products decrease. This does not give any savings up to a moment. And as Mr. Yiannoglou said, this clearly will lead to substitution. And again, where actually this system now, as I say, is a system that, let's say, keeps stable the price of more expensive drugs and lowers the price of less expensive drugs, which again is a distortion. So, unfortunately, the legislation of clawback and pricing has to be definitely adjusted, and I think nobody is proud, neither the Greek government nor the institution nor us, that these laws have certain very unconstitutional elements, and this will be addressed in the High Court of Justice. I can understand whether we're in a transitional phase, but we need to go to another area and address these very specific issues together with therapeutic protocols, together with HTA, together with negotiations. All these have been voted, but we need to have them implemented more fast. Now, the other 2 aspects are very important. We have to make the optimal use of all the financial instruments we have in place, all the incentives we have in place, all the tax incentives, all the subsidies that have been given, and we have to make a fast track for every investment. I think this is very, very important, and this is something that we need the Greek state to better implement in the future. Fast track for any investment, irrespective of the size of the company, irrespective of the geographical area. We need to renegotiate this with the institutions so that big companies, for example, in Attica, and if they have 50 million or 20 million investment and more, they can have a fast track and can have incentives that are the same with any other area or size of the company. And the third is all the tax incentives for R&D. So all this is a very general framework. We have a lot of things have been done. We cannot go to the past. Definitely, there were many, many reforms that have been achieved in this area, but we need to see and address truly the fact that we need to do many more things in terms of generic penetration, in terms of how the budget is inefficient because of the clawback, and unfortunately because with the current pricing system there is a lot of substitution of older products to newer ones. Thank you.